the kicks back into the team, as Cartridge found out a couple of times during that game. But let's have a look then down the bands as we head into Champion Select for game number 2. And Legacy this time will once again ban Tristana, but they decide that Nidalee is of importance to Fabulous and get rid of that.
So Maokai is still available, and it is a champion that is first pick worthy. What are the last 2 bans going to be? Choo-Choo's has played Kassadin in the past. He played it during the Oceanic Finals in game 1 of the series, and if Dark Passage don't ban him for the 3rd and final pick, they may even want to go that route. But the risk is then, do they ban Maokai and hope to get Kassadin? What do they leave up? Because both of those champions are up and available. Only one of them can get banned. Maybe I'm tunnel visioning, but we'll see.
No, I think you're perfectly right on that one. You ban Kassadin, it leaves Maokai, and exactly the same the other way around. So far it's Zillion and Alistair for Dark Passage. Now they're left with the choice. Do they ban the tree? Or do they get rid of Kassadin here? Choo-Choo's has played it. We also have to say that Naru has played it. And actually, they go for neither. They leave them both up by taking away Rengar, which means they are going to give away Kassadin, but get the Maokai.
Has to be. So the 2 power picks left up. Now, this is the advantage of being on the red side. When you do have 2 first picks in your first round, you can leave more OPs up and available, and that allows you to lock them in. A lot for Legacy will hinge on this Kassadin pick, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them running the likes of Annalise, the likes of an Irelia again, because of the power and the potential to just jump on single targets. They do need to be very wary of containing Fabulous, because obviously, if that tree gets ahead, there's no Lumberjack in the world that can take him down.
Except maybe Braum, because he's got a big manly mustache, but he's going to be picked as well, and he's going to be on their side. Touch once again will get his hands on that champion. Of course, last game was over with Ejim, who's Alistair once again banned away from him. And rightly so, I think, because Ejim's performance over these last couple of days with Alistair has definitely been ban-worthy.
I completely agree. And for Legacy, maybe an AD carry pick. They've got their mid lane, and they've done this blind. Orianna's still up and available if Naru wants to go that route, and you'd have a very good team fight comp from Dark Passage already. Kog'Maw, Jinx, possibilities, really taking their time. The fact that Kassadin and Maokai were both up and available has, I think, thrown this entire pick and ban phase out of whack. And they have to go back to the drawing board to determine what are their priorities, what are they looking to build.
Well, we are going to be seeing Shyvana come up here for Minky Whale in that top lane. Scary champion in the right hands, and Minky Whale may just be those hands.
Yeah, very, very big champion. Minky Whale used Shyvana to win Game 5 against Team Immunity back at home, and shout out to Atlas for the great call. He is a huge dragon, and he's going to need to become a huge dragon again. With the Morgana, with the Shyvana, you've got those diving champions that can, with the Kassadin and the Shyvana, you've got those diving champions that can get to the back line, that can get to Dark Passage's squishies, whoever they're going to be. And with Zed being locked in against Kassadin, it's going to be that assassin versus assassin matchup. And I'm not entirely convinced Zed works these days, because he does have a time limit on his usefulness. Once people get those hourglasses or get those QSSs, it did not work for Choo-Choo's yesterday against Dark Passage. Let's see if Naru can make it work against Legacy.
Also going to be picking up Nunu, so a shift in Nunu choices. Obviously last game was with Carbon for Legacy. Was pretty effective, you know, those slows, Nunu and Braum together make it very, very hard to actually escape from anything. We'll see how Crystal M does with it this time around. But for Legacy now, looking to finish off their comp, looking for the jungler and the AD carry. Obviously, Lee Sin was taken away by Legacy, so that one not on the board. Rengar was banned away by Dark Passage as well.
I'm somewhat confused by the Zed pick when you consider there's a Maokai and a Nunu in there. And the reasoning is Zed is really about blowing somebody up. When you've got Maokai, Braum, Nunu, you're looking for extended team fights. You're looking for fights to go on a while, and Zed, he kind of unleashes everything, and if somebody dies, great. Yes, he does have fairly low cooldowns, but he's not the type of champion you want stuck in the middle of a fight, continually, you know, landing auto attacks, if I can put it that way. So a little bit of a mix and match here from Dark Passage. What it does allow is if Naru gets ahead, he can obviously split push, which will work in his favor. But we need to see how the rest of this AD carry lock-in happens, because Dark Passage, they need constant damage over time to complement 3 of their 5 champions.
So, final lock-in here then was in fact Jinx. And Dark Passage yesterday in their win against Legacy used Jinx to great effect, just shredding through those towers early on, was able to close that game out pretty quickly. And with the added Nunu in there as well for the Blood Boil, well, it's the same combo as we saw last game. You've got to be in a position to utilize it in the first place.
And for the Nunu, as well as the rest of Dark Passage team composition, they're going to be very much focused around containing and protecting Holy Phoenix in team fights, letting Naru do his own thing, looking for kills, either trying to blow up Cardred or Choo Choos, and then relying on that get excited from Holy Phoenix to run down whoever's left from Legacy. The only risk is, of course, that Repel can get you to the backline easily. Dragon's Descent can get you to the backline relatively easily, and you're going to have a Kassadin that can rift walk multiple times as well. So it's going to be abilities that Legacy can make use of to deal with the AoE crowd control on the side of Dark Passage. I still feel the Z pick is the question mark. I don't really think it fits into the style of Dark Passage's team comp, but Naru might prove me wrong.
Well, you've got the ability to get away from those chasing players on the Dark Passage side. I mean, the fact is that you're going to have a Dark Binding Cocoon that can lock 2 people up if they play their cards right. Kassadin, Corki, Shyvana can all just jump straight away from it if they need to actually get out of that bad situation. So, going to be hard here, I think, for Dark Passage.
I think so too. They do have a lot of innate tankiness, which does play into their favor.
Yeah.
So we'll see how Legacy handle the early game to overcome their opponent's natural tankiness.
So let's find out then. The scoreline currently stands 1-0 in favor of Dark Passage, but we are going to be getting into game number 2 as Legacy move over onto the blue side. And they got their hands on Kassadin. Cost them a Maokai on the other side though. And you have to kind of look at those 2 picks and say which is going to be the strongest.
I completely agree. And I think the next question is which AD carry is going to be more relevant. You know, Cardred's going to hit that mid-game power spike. He's going to be able to poke very effectively with his rockets. But he will eventually be outscaled by Jinx. And it's just something they've got to be careful of. We'll touch that in a second because Egypt has not seen Dark Passage. Dark Passage, if they can catch him out maybe with a Twisted Advance or a Brown Stun, that can be first blood. They're going in, Joe.
Well, it's going to be, I'm afraid, somewhat anticlimactic there as Egypt just walks away from it. They weren't able to get in there quick enough to lock him down, and he walks off. However, Dark Passage have got in there, and they're going to be checking out this bottom side of the map. There was a ward put down, so they can see early on if these lane swaps are going to happen.
And I think it's very important. Dark Passage are doing what Legacy did not. If you look at Dark Passage's comp, it is quite reminiscent of the team fight focus that Legacy had in the previous game. So as long as Dark Passage do not fall behind, they can make the right decisions to allow their team to work very effectively around the 4 or 5 members. On Legacy's side, you're a little more focused in finding picks. You want a Dark Binding or a Cocoon to land, and you want Kassadin, Elise, and Corki to try blow him up as quickly as possible, and then allow Minky Whale to be that huge disruptive dragon. So for Legacy, when we eventually get to these roaming mid-game stages, they're going to be looking to insta-give somebody, and if they don't, the longer the team fight goes, the better it's going to be for Dark Passage, because their comp will just thrive more and more and more.
So, red buff start here for Crystal M. Taken down to about half HP and then gets it all back thanks to that consume. Bottom lane, in the meantime, that started off well here for Dark Passage. Let's not forget the last game. Holy Phoenix out-farmed Cardred by a heavy amount. Let's see if we can do the same here with Jinx, Choo Choos, and Naru in the mid lane. As was last game where they went very even, seems to be a similar scenario here.
Yeah, and you know, Naru's obviously going to take more poke from Choo Choos purely because of that Null Sphere, but they CS it evenly enough. And the kill threat will actually be very high once both of those champions have access to their ultimates. I want to see what Choo Choos itemizes, because, you know, since Kassadin sort of changes and rework, we've seen a couple of variations. We've seen tanky Kassadin, we've seen, you know, Iceborne Gauntlet, we've seen full AP. There are multiple ways of building him. And against a Z and a Jinx, it wouldn't be unheard of to go for that Frozen Fist. You know, it gives you the armor, gives you the zone control. It actually gives you CC to play with, and you can just continually chase with that little AoE slow.
bottom lane once again as we look down there. Continues to go well for Dark Passage and going aggressive there. However, they planned the binding there on towards Touch, and that means that he takes quite the damage. But Holy Phoenix playing it aggressive, going in. Good damage back on towards Egypt. And it's a bit of a tug of war down bottom. They're going in and out. That binding did in fact miss though. So we move back over to the mid lane where Choo-Choo's continues to pressure Naru.
But notice how Holy Phoenix and Touch, with the same dual lane combo that Legacy had in the previous game, are playing more aggressively. I feel when you've got Jinx and Braum, you have to be more aggro, more in the face of your opponents if you want to get lane dominance. Choo-Choo's, he's thinking about it. He's got Ignite.
Oh, that is a lot of damage. Ignite goes down. They both flash at the same time there, and Ignite's not enough to tick away, but it does force Naru to back off, giving Choo-Choo's a lot of free time to farm.
Yeah, and there's going to be some damage put down into that mid tower. No flashes available for either of those very slippery mid lane champions. And again, Choo-Choo's is actually beating Naru in the 1v1. Second game in a row in the laning phase, where he is the one coming out victorious, and we touched on his mechanical prowess. Ejim and Kadra, they're looking for Touch. They caught him.
Oh, they have caught him there with the bind. He puts up the Unbreakable. The Chomper's not going to be effective because of that Black Shield, and in the end, Touch able to just dash back away, get on towards Holy Phoenix, didn't use any summoner spells, and Carbon is now coming down bottom. Touch, is he going to be able to escape? He is, just a split second too late on the binding.
I think Ejim needed to have opened with the Tormented Soil. It was no travel time. He may have been able to interrupt the recall. But Dark Passage, go all the way back to the initial invade. They got the information they wanted regarding the lanes, and they still opted into the straight-up lanes. Holy Phoenix and Touch, despite playing aggressively, they're holding even on CS, but you have to feel they're losing those trades with Kadra and Ejim. Obviously, because of the fact they've been forced to recall first and move away. Now remember, no flash on Choo-Choo's. We'll see if we can get away.
Oh, going to be a problem for him here. The Ignite does go down, and surely he's going to die. One more hit will do it, and Crystal M goes in. Simple auto attack to get the kill.
Choo-Choo's just unfortunate to get caught out of position. I mean, no Riftwalk, no flash. It was actually fairly simple there for Crystal M and Naru. Carbon, he's looking for Naru.
Not going to find him though. Repel brings him up in the air, and Naru just steps back off into the brush. Comes back into even try and do a bit more damage before he ends up going home. Came in with a Vamp Scepter, so went for that lane sustain. And now it's Minky Whale that could be in some problems on this top side. Fabulous actually going pretty low, but Minky Whale, he does have that flash available, and he's not even going to bother to use it. Goes down, Crystal M gets another one.
Yeah, very, very well played. Crystal M making much better use of the Nunu than the previous game. Flash, Cocoon, missed.
Dodged by Naru, give him that credit there. He just stepped back towards them, which in itself could have been dangerous, but able to just walk away. Did lose quite a lot of health, but nonetheless, didn't go down. The important thing of that is Cardred here trying to get in. Holy Phoenix going to get hit by the binding. Can they finish off the kill? He's been exhausted up as well, but look at the turnaround. Cardred going low. There's the slow. Touch needs a couple more auto attacks to finish it up. Has he got the damage? A good binding comes in. Touch has got a flash, but they decide against using it, and now Carbon there as well. Touch is going to be forced to walk away. As I said, flash still available, and this bottom lane, as I mentioned before, just the tug of war constantly in the damage trades.
Yeah, very, very aggressive in the laning phase. And is that another flash? Actually, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Holy Phoenix to get away from the skill shot. 2-0 in favor of Dark Passage, thanks to Crystal M's very effective ganks. But in terms of CS, it is still very even across the board. So Legacy, once again, falling behind in the early trades. In the previous matchup, we really didn't see that Nunu having anywhere near the same level of impact during the laning phase. And I think Legacy have got to be a bit more wary. They're just overextending somewhat carelessly. And Minky Well's been jumped on by a tree.
Actually, he has to use his ultimate there to get away. Didn't want to use the flash, of course. And that will leave him having to recall. Does have TP, so we'll see if he actually uses that to come instantly back into lane. Went for the Vamp Scepter first to get that sustain. And now that Naru hit that level 6 mark there, they got that kill on towards Choo-Choo's. Got himself the death mark. Will he go diving here? Choo-Choo's needs to be really careful. There is the death mark coming down. Naru is going to be able to pick up the kill, but he might fall for it as well. Carbon coming away, dashes off to the shadows. Nunu coming around to cover, and that's the danger. Zed hits level 6 and just dives straight underneath the turret.
And that is a testament, thanks to the fact that Choo-Choo's died earlier. Because he gave up first blood, he was behind in experience and he got punished. Now Touch eats another Dark Binding.
Good block in there, actually going to dive forward towards Cardred, switches target on towards Ejim. Both of them could get stunned up with one more auto attack. It's Cardred that actually loses it. Binding comes down, Touch surely going to fall here, and he is finished off by Cardred, and that will be the first kill of the game here for Legacy.
Yeah, we do see Touch and Holy Phoenix just going a tad over-aggressive. You don't usually focus the support, but when you're in full retreat, it's the only target being presented. I think Legacy made the best of that situation. The kill landing in Cardred's hands is very important because he needs to hit that power spike before Holy Phoenix. He wants to get the Trinity Force, and he wants to start punishing Jinx because she will take a longer time to scale up, especially because Holy Phoenix started with a pickaxe. Anyways, Cardred and Ejim, they're about to get caught by an absolute zero.
It's going to do full damage here towards Ejim. The zap will land as well. He's in so much trouble. He's going to get the ulti proc off on towards Crystal M, but Holy Phoenix is going to finish off. Does get the excitement going, but Binding landed just before he died. And that will mean there's no chase onto his AD carry, but scary times. Jinx now getting the kill as well, and an assist on towards Crystal M, who's come out so strong with this Nunu. They're going for a dragon.
Yeah, Crystal M definitely showing a better understanding of how to handle Nunu. His ganks have been great, and every single lane that Legacy has been overextended in, they've been punished for. Dark Passage have got 4 kills, they've got the first dragon of the game, they've built themselves up a 3,000 gold lead, and we're not even 10 minutes into this matchup. Despite the fact that Legacy have been playing fairly aggressively in this duo lane, it has only accrued to 1 kill, and that kill was because Dark Passage were the ones that were playing overly aggressive themselves.
Jim now trying to hold on to this tower. Pink Ward's going to be taken away, and it's like Legacy just going to check there around the dragon. Actually, Dark Passage needs to be really careful here about this one because there's 2 men coming down bottom. They need to get the hell out of there as fast as possible. Touch not level 6 yet, so doesn't have his ultimate available to actually use that for defensive purposes. They might both go down here. Damage coming from Corky. Holy Phoenix is going to fall first. Binding doesn't quite have the distance to lock up Touch, but it's still a kill.
So they managed to take down Holy Phoenix. Minky Wells get jumped on by Fab.
Oh, this is real bad news for him. Actually, we'll use the flash there to go back. And Fabulous just bullying this top lane. Only got that Catalyst, the Protector. Obviously up at level 9 by now. Got a CS lead, got that advantage from the assist earlier on as well. Minky Whale having problems.
Deathmark and Ignite available for Naru. He's going in.
Yeah, he's going in, and Choo Choo's is not coming out, I'm afraid. There he goes, back to the shadow. The splat comes down, and Naru gets his second.
And he steals the blue buff from Choo Choo's as well. 1v1, while Choo Choo's was winning up until level 3. Since then, Naru has had Choo Choo's number. He's picked the right fights, he's engaged correctly, and very, very good mechanical play from Naru. It feels like he had something to prove from the previous game. Dark Passage are just growing this lead even more. Despite the fact that Holy Phoenix died in the bottom lane, because Zed is getting so big and because Fab has got a sizable lead, you just feel like once team fights break out, Holy Phoenix will have all the time he needs because of how well the rest of his team is doing.
Look at the 35 CS difference in that mid lane as well. Those 3 deaths that Choo Choo's has accrued up until now. Means that he's really struggling on the farm. Holy Phoenix going pretty aggressive on this one, and why not? Crystal M actually coming in. There is the ultimate used by Crystal M. Didn't get much of a channel off, and Egypt trying to push this one back, and why not? Elise and Kazakhs are both coming down. There's the TP though from the top lane. They may try and push this one back, but Fabulous not quite in range to actually dive in on that one. Kassadin has left his mid lane all alone, and Naru will just use it to kill the tower.
So first tower secured by Dark Passage. If they stay grouped up, they can take a second in a moment or two. Jinx plus Nunu equals dead tower. We do see Minky Well going in the top lane. He does not have any armor, and Naru is coming up behind him. Does not have Deathmark available, so we'll see if he's going to look for any sorts of kills. While that's going on, Touch is now caught just a little bit up, but he's got his ulti up.
Bit of a face check, but they do get the ulti on towards Cardred. Exhaust goes on to Holy Phoenix. I don't think they can chase in for a kill this time around, and actually Elise is coming down, so Dark Passage needs to start backing away from this. Elise does go in, but Carbon might take too much damage here at the start. There is Touch taking the Dark Binding to lock him up. Will dash away towards Holy Phoenix. The return is good here, but Touch is surely going to go down. Lasted a lot longer than he actually should have, and that will be a double kill for Cardred. He falls though straight away afterwards. Meanwhile, Minky Whale is not quite dead. I don't know how he quite survived that
for
one.
a second as well. Hopefully we can get a replay of that, but we did see Naru eventually going in on Minky Well in the bottom lane. Holy Phoenix and Touch had been playing overly aggressive. They gave up a kill, the first kill they gave up their first death to Legacy by overextending and being caught out. They got punished earlier, and now they're doing it again. Minky Well's got no teleport. Crystal M, I think he might be able to just pick this up.
Oh, not quite finishing off there. Another snowball would have done it.
Weird.
It's Fabulous now gets his ultimate running as well. And Minky Whale gonna try and run for his life. Can't get away from the tree though. Pounds down, and Fabulous picked up his first kill of this game too. Choo Choo's and Egypt started to come up, but nothing available.
Dark Passage definitely applying themselves the third time's the charm theory. Naru went in, couldn't do it. Crystal M went in, couldn't do it. And it was Fab that eventually got the 7th kill of the game for Dark Passage. They built up a 4,500 gold lead. And Cardred is getting very close to having that Trinity Force completed. He's a couple hundred gold away. But Holy Phoenix, BF Sword, Zeal, Pickaxe, and 2 kills. He's becoming scary already. I just think for Legacy, they need to find ways to get Choo Choo's back in the game, find some picks for this Castellan, and they need to get him snowballing.
All that CS difference for Naru as well means that he's now got a pickaxe on top of the Cutlass and that Brutalizer, trying to keep them now away from this mid lane. Zap actually misses there, which could have possibly been the death there of Cardred. They're going very deep here though, and Egypt decides he's going to push around, get his ultimate going. That's going to land on towards Touch. What can Crystal do here? Binding means that he can't keep chasing, as Holy Phoenix almost going down to Choo Choo's. They should be able to follow on from this.
Yeah, there is a flash and Dark Binding in a second for Egypt. We'll see what he can connect with.
Oh, wow. Well, the Binding is enough there to actually finish off the kill for Egypt. And no summoner spells available meant the easy kill onto Holy Phoenix. And Dark Passage once again are going to be forced to back away. Death marks up here for Naru. Minky Whale has to be careful. He has to back away to give the turret up.
Yeah, Naru's chasing though. Gonna see if he can close the gap. A level advantage. And remember, still no armor on Minky Whale, so he would need to jump into that Dragon's form to get the additional defensive stats. Naru's doing such a great job on Zed. 25 plus 38, 60 CS lead over Choo Choo's, and there's that death mark.
Oh, going in on this one. Can he actually get the kill? The death mark might be enough. No, not quite, but the ignite is ticking, and Naru picks up his 3rd kill. He's just running amok here with that dangerous scenario now for Legacy.
Well, very well played. You know, while the Zed may not fit into the team fight comp that the rest of his team composition is built, he is going to be the split-pushing assassination monster. I was saying, let's see if he can blow up the squishies on the side of Legacy. And he's blowing them to hell and gone. 3-0-1, Blade of the Ruin King completed. If you look at Choo Choo's build, he's gone for Seeker's Arm Guard into a Glacial Shroud. Fab, can he survive?
It actually looks like he might be able to. They're going to have to go into look at that damage coming in. Cardred, in the end, does manage to pick up the kill. No one actually pushing with him. But look at this, down in the bottom lane. Nunu plus Jinx equals Dead Tower.
That's the case, and it'll be the 3rd or 4th of the game. Is this going to connect? So close. Well played, spectators, by the way. That was pretty smooth. Another tower down. Minky Well forced to retreat. All 5 kills for Cardred have come from punishing Dark Passage for overextending and punishing Dark Passage for sort of being in the wrong place. But it's not enough because they're not grouping for the rest of Legacy to get involved. Minky Well is still miles behind his opposite number, and Choo Choo's is even further. That CS advantage is above 60 at this stage.
Yeah, and you can see the items there from Choo Choo's causing problems. Let's watch that one again from Fabulous as he almost got away from it.
Yeah, very important to note, he's going to throw down that Vengeful Maelstrom, reduce so much damage from Legacy, and because he's got the Rod of Ages with a little bit of ability power, I mean, he burst so much hit points. If those team fights break out, Fab actually has a damage threat. You know, if Legacy group up and try focus and put that damage down, Fab can throw that. You add an absolute 0 and a couple of spinning slashes from Naru, and there's pentakill material waiting to happen.
Crystal M there getting slowed down, but no follow-up after that one. Definitely had more of an impact than we saw Carbon's Nunu have in that last game. And with really the exact same combo. Dark Passage here basically said, we're just going to pick what you picked last game and show you how you actually play this combo.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, at its core, that's what they've done. We do see Touch eating a cocoon, but look at how little damage he's taking. Let's see if he can get away. Legacy, they're going all in.
Oh, they're going to try and turn this one around. Absolute Zero doesn't do all a lot. Fabulous, though, is going to join the party, going on towards Egypt. Naru coming around as well. Super Mega Death Rocket comes into the backside. Naru gets the kill to put him on a rampage. Can they get any more of them? Slow's going to land onto Carbon. They can't keep following through, though. And we saw Naru trying to flank around the side. They might just have this turret away. I think the Legacy have to just leave it, yep.
Another turret secure. Dark Passage, despite using a lot of their ultimates and teleports, they find the killer Minky Well, who is the primary front line for Legacy. Look at how they're playing the map. Naru's got top lane to push the inner turret, while the rest of Dark Passage are keeping Legacy at bay. It's going to secure them their 6th turret of the game, extending that gold lead even further. And Dark Passage have really shown up to play today. They're really objective focused. Despite playing a little over-aggressive at times, it hasn't cost them, it hasn't hurt them, because Legacy have only got 1 tower to their name.
Naru threw his shadow out there, but obviously couldn't move to it since he was hit by the binding of Egypt. Not like Choo Choo's was trying to get involved, but honestly, this Kassadin not really got all that much damage at this point.
No, not really. He's just been terribly shut down. 1v1, Naru just completely outplayed him. It is that simple. It did stem from a gank of Crystal M, yes, of course, but after that, it's all been about Naru. And, you know, if you look at the minimap in terms of warding, Dark Passage is doing a very good job of keeping their vision of this game, especially considering how deep they just went in the invade. And I like talking about the vision game with sort of Wildcard and with challenger teams, because you contrast it to LCS teams and, you know, the professional international teams. And in the previous game, Dark Passage actually had worse warding than Legacy. You could attest that to the fact they had complete map control, so they were a little lazy in warding. But, you know, placed 99, Legacy placed 119. That's a pretty big difference. This time around, I do feel they're doing a much better job at the vision game.
And Zed is gonna be split pushing like a bit of a beast now as well. Ghost Blade done on top of his Blade of the Ruined King. Carbon actually gonna face check, but face checking into the support and the tanky Nunu jungle means that they actually start to back away from this one. The binding doesn't land, ultimate gonna be used, but this entire time Zed is pushing in the bottom. Here comes the rest of the team. Holy Phoenix off to the side. He's gonna be picked off here by Minky Whale. Is it all about buying time for Zed to maybe take an inhibitor turret? They're gonna keep them fighting as Touch goes down to half HP, but Naru is on the inhibitor turret. It's flash from Touch. Minky Whale trying to stick to him at this point. Carbon is incredibly low, and Touch is still alive here. They're going to get under the tower.
That's a support that they have not been able to kill yet. Legacy, they're not stopping.
And Naru was killed off the inhibitor turret. There is the lock up. Minky Whale tanking the tower this entire time. Crystal M going to chase him back, and they're all going super low from this one. Carbon now going to be focused down. Zed is in the base. The inhibitor's going down, and they're picking up kills while they go.
Legacy managed to overextend. They took such a long time to kill Touch. They're going to lose their inhibitor, and they've given up 2 more kills. Crystal M and Fab want to chase. Blood Boiler's down. I don't know if that burnout's going to be quick enough.
Here comes the 3. Twisted advance off to the minion. Sapling will be cancelled out there if it had even... Oh, it does Lances pretty quick at this stage. Still not enough to finish off Minky Whale, but... So once again, Super Mega Death Rocket comes out, just clips Ejim in the face. But Naru, inhibitor down. They were being chased all around the jungle, still managed to pick up a couple of kills on their way through. Could have made it a 3rd. And that leaves Legacy with super minions pouring into their base from the bottom side. And then basically Zed to just push the top side of the map.
Yep, there's nothing on Legacy's side that can contain that Zed. Minky Whale has still not got a lot of armor. He's picked up Ninja Tabai. That's not going to be enough. Carbon's got himself a Giant's Belt and Spirit of the Ancient Golem. If you look at the item differences between these two teams, it is massive. There is a 10,000 gold lead in favor of the Turkish squad. And despite Holy Phoenix even being caught out, Legacy are just so far behind. It took them over a minute to just kill a support. Touch on that Braum, his natural tankiness that we talked about, really shining through, really doing a great job. And Legacy don't overcommit once more. It didn't work out last time.
Dark Passage here Starting to close in, they managed to knock up Carbon, the chompers go down, he's going to come right back on top of them. This is an easy kill. Naru actually manages to get in there to finish things off as Fabulous taking damage from Minkwell, but he'll be happy to keep in there because he'll be a 4 versus 3 in the mid lane.
Yeah, at this point in time, they could even do a tower dive if they wanted to. Fab would need to teleport in. There's the Soul Shackle. Let's see if Legacy can turn anything around.
Well, Naru is the obvious choice here, but look at the damage coming back the other way. And it means that Ejim has to back off, and his ultimate will stop them from going for that turret for now. But will it be able to hold them off completely? They keep pushing onto it, definitely wanting it at this stage. Ejim actually going to go down. It was the super mega death rocket out of Holy Phoenix that got it. That's surely this turret now.
Yeah, Cardred is doing the best he can to wave clear, but the moment Fab decides to jump on him, he should be instantly taken down. Deathmark is still available from Naru if he wanted to throw that one in. He's got a 100 CS lead over his opponents, and Choo Choo's has only added an amp tome since the last time we talked about those items. Really not having a good day. 4v1, Cardred's not going to be able to defend. Here comes the support of Carbon and Choo Choo's.
Tower is surely going to go down with this push. Fabulous actually going in. Turret does go down. Will they want to run away? Absolute Zero is going to be channeled in there as Minky Way will dive forward. Choo Choo's looking to clean up from this, but they turn around the paint. Can they finish him? There we go. Let's get excited for Holy Phoenix, and he's actually sticking around here, and here comes Naru from the backside. Ejim going to die to the death mark. Exhaust won't be enough to finish him off, and just like that, Legacy split up in all kinds of different directions. Naru looking for another kill. Minky Whale's recalling. I think Naru's going to leave him. They're going to get a second in him.
They're going to get a second in him. There's super minions going towards the Nexus turrets. They may even decide to keep pushing, but it's low death timers on the side of Legacy. If Legacy were not 10,000 gold down, that team fight would have been very different. But because they fell so incredibly far behind, they didn't have the damage, they didn't have the items they needed to win the fight, despite the fact they actually looked pretty good. You know, it started off well, but unfortunately for Legacy, it just wasn't enough. Crystal M, he's being chased by Choo Choo's.
Naru turns it around though, look at the damage there onto Choo Choo's. Ignite came in as well, and Naru got the kill. Minky Whale's going to try and chase over, but Naru should have the cooldowns back. No, Minky Whale gets the shutdown. He won't be able to catch Crystal M though.
They got a Nexus turret, they got another inhibitor. Despite the fact they've given up a couple of kills, it is definitely worth it for Dark Passage. They continue to extend their gold lead. It's up to 14,500 now. And Minky Whale, he's going to get caught out by Fab. Let's see if that burnout is fast enough. It looks like it should be this time.
Wow. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. Minky Whale using his ultimate there to get away. And let's have a look at that one again. It's the super mega death rocket into the base to kill Ejim. That was pretty spectacular.
God. That was awesome, because it was even the right angle. I don't think he had the scrying orb either. And we're just going to fast forward to the team fight, I believe. Thank you, spectators. This is the team fight that, you know, it actually shows you that if Legacy are able to focus single targets, you know, they really did try to burn down Fab, they can kill members of Dark Passage. The only problem is they gave up so much leading up to this team fight, it just simply didn't matter. And the moment they get split up, look at how effective the Zed was able to come in and clear out. Easy Baron, even more gold, even more advantage. It really is just a matter of time before Dark Passage push into the base. There's only one Nexus turret standing. There's not a lot that Legacy can do to contain them.
So, Choo Choo's now has got a Sheen added into his build. Still not having the effectiveness that the Kassadin needs to have, that you expect to have when Kassadin comes through. You take it as a first pick. Obviously stems from much earlier on in the game where he died as soon as Naru hit level 6, and then he just snowballed out of control. I mean, that's an 8-1-2 Z. We've already seen the damage that he can do. And now they're split pushing once again. Naru and Fabulous having to go on the inhib, and honestly, Choo Choo's, he can only go so far. You know, Naru just turns around and he's just going to destroy him. 3 more coming down now towards his bottom, which means top lane has been pushed through. Inhibitor's going to go down. They could just go straight for those Nexus turrets. Cardinal is going to die. Double kill coming out for Naru. They're chasing more here on towards the fountain, but as those Nexus turrets fall, the Nexus itself is going to be focused down, and this is Dark Passage moving on to game point. 1 game away now from going to the World Championships in 2014.
Very well played by the Turkish squad. Absolute control from the opening minutes. And Crystal M, First of all, Crystal Lim on Nunu getting very low-level ganks in lane was incredibly impressive. I love the way he read the situation and punished Legacy for overextending. Secondly, Naru on Zed. That was fantastic. A calculated pick and ban phase from Dark Passage to leave both Maokai and Kassadin open.